Well, hello, Fiona Whitten from Oakfield Crafts here, and welcome to another card and stamping techniques Facebook Live. Just bear with me 2 seconds whilst I see if I am actually live. I did wonder this morning as to whether I was actually going to make this. I'm saying this morning because where I am it is this morning. I'm actually not in the UK. Yes, I snuck out. Don't tell anyone. But yeah. Oh yeah. Looks like I am live. And it's the wrong way round. Oh fudge. I'm not sure how I'm going to sort this because I thought I had it sorted because it's alright on my screen but just not live. Oh heck, sorry. Technical issues, and I will work it out another time hopefully. Let's see, maybe if I just turn the phone. Hopefully you guys won't get too dizzy doing me doing this. It just means that I need to be careful which way I'm doing things. Okay, right, well at least it's the right way round, which is the main thing. So this morning I'm going to share with you how to make one of these fun fold W cuts. So it opens up like this. You can get this out of, let's see, it was one sheet of coloured cardstock. You don't need much basic white, and probably I used half a sheet of the double-sided paper for the background, and then I needed some other bits for the for these squares. I chose the easy way out by actually using double-sided paper, but of course if you want to use stamps and ink, then that's fine, it's entirely up to you. So this paper is the Beauty of the Earth paper. I believe it's one of those that will be in the sale starting tomorrow. I don't know if you've heard, there's 15% off select packs of designer series paper. So, and I believe that this is one of them. So this is what I'm going to show you. I'm not actually going to use the Beauty of the Earth paper for the next card, but this is my, call it a prototype, but it's basically finished. I've got a little bit to do on the front. And this bit, if you're wondering, is because I couldn't figure out if I just wanted to do a single thank you or have it so that it was more of a focus by having 3 stamped. And that was just the full blood, full ink, second stamp, third stamp. So it's just a different way of getting an effect without having to re-ink or anything like that. So right then, without further ado, I'm going to share how to make this. I hope you can all see. I can't see any comments. Oh fudge. I'm going to get to my full screen. There we go. She says, oh well, that's not going to work. I do think that maybe being here it would work a bit better, but hey ho. It's just one of those. Okay, right, let's see if I can change the light as well so that it's not, I think we're just going to have shadows as well. Because it's early in the morning here, I'm going to have lots of shadows. Right, so I'm going to start and I'm just going to show you what I'm going to use. So I have some double-sided paper, which is from the Bloom Where You're Planted pack. And it's really cute. There's all sorts in here. Lots of plants, lots of foliage, brick walls. There's little plant pots with plants in. Looks like wood effect wall. There's excuse this one because you can see I've been chopping it. So there's this one, and that's got more wood effect on the back. I'm hoping that this is still recording. I think it is. Oh, hi Trisha. Amy, I see a comment. And then what else? The brick wall that I'm using, which has got a very, it's black and, well no, actually it's not black, it's Evening Evergreen and Just Jade. So yeah, there's all sorts of bits and pieces in here. There's just pots. And I like this, I think this is very subtle, I like that background. And then, a bit like the Beauty of the Earth, there's some paper that you can simply cut in half and then into thirds and make high fronts, or you could do whatever it is that you really want to do with this. So without further ado, I am going to make a start on this card. I'm wary that it's like 3 o'clock where you are. So yeah, so just so you know, all the July's card and the cuppers and the card and stamping techniques are going to be at 3 o'clock for the next couple of months. And then hopefully it'll resume as normal again very soon. It'll be September. Okay, right, this is not working. I thought we had better internet here, but obviously not. Anyway, right, let's put a few things, tidy up. Not that it's really a mess. So that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to use some brick wool, your more traditional brick. I'm going to use a piece of A4 Evening Evergreen. And to do this, so I've got my short end at the top, and I'm going to cut down at 10.5 centimetres just to cut it in half. And then one piece I'm going to score in the middle just to make my base card. So I'm going to score it at 14.85. That's that. So that is my base card. And then from the other piece, I'm going to cut again. This time I'm going to cut a 3 centimetre strip all the way down. So effectively this is 3 centimetres wide, and then it's the whole length of the A4, which is 29.7. And then this piece I am going to score at 14.85, which is the centre. Move that out of the way. 14.85, and then so we've got 14.85 each side, so half of that is 7.4 and a bit, but I'm just going to do 7.4, so I'm going to just score 7.4 from one end, turn it, and then score 7.4 centimetres. Yes, just so you know, this is centimetres, not inches. So these two pieces form the base card, and then the piece that is going to create the W fold bit in the middle. So it's a very easy card. And then from what's left of the scrap, you're going to cut 4 squares because we want to decorate. So on here I've used 4 squares, and I'm using squares because I've got the trimmer and it's a lot easier and quicker to do. If you want to put circles on there or stitched rectangles or whatever, it's entirely up to you. Yeah, but I'm just going to stick with my squares for the time being. And so that's 4 points. So I think I want to make, let's see, I can't even remember what sizes I made these out of. Let's get my trusty ruler. So these are 4.5 centimetre squares. So that's what I'm going to do. So 4.5, and I need 4 of them. So again, I'm just going to cut down the whole length at 4.5. Put that. I'm not going to put that piece to that side because that will get me confused with the other bits. And then I'm just going to cut this piece into squares. And you should be able to get all 4 out of this. So those are my 4 squares. Right, so I've cut all the cardstock that I need for the base card. So now I need to cut the pieces that will decorate the card. So sorry, I keep saying so on the Beauty of the Earth card, I layered the front, but I didn't layer the back. And it's up to you. So the layer here is the traditional 10 by 14.4, and then all of these 2 pieces have also been cut 10 by 14.4, or you can just cut all 3 pieces at 10 by 14.4. But I'm going to kind of follow what I did here. So I need 2 pieces of 10 by 14.4. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take the whole of my sheet, and then I'm going to just cut down at 14.4, because I know I can get 3 pieces out of that half of the sheet, because it's virtually half the sheet. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces which are 10, each of those. So those 2 pieces, which are 10 by 14.4, are going to go on the inside of the card. And then the piece on the front, I need to cut it down. I don't need 10 by 14.4, I need 9.5, because it's going to sit on a another piece of cardstock. So 9.5 by 13.9. So that's effectively ½ centimetre shorter and ½ centimetre taken off the width as well. So those are my 3 pieces double-sided paper. Now I'm just going to use basic white to make that matte for the front. So I'm going to cut it in half, because then I know I've always got a half sheet to use in the future. Try and cut this cardstock sensibly. Now I know I need a piece that is 10. Don't need that piece at the moment. By 14.4. And voila, that will sit on here, and then it will go on the card front. And those 2 pieces will go on the inside. Then the $64 million question is, how am I going to decorate the 4 squares on the inside? Well, I know that I need 1 white one to put a sentiment on. And in fact, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stamp today. So I know that, so just double checking that these are 4.5 centimetre squares. So I need to cut 4 lots of 4 by 4 out of this other piece of basic white. So I don't think I'll get 4 out of this one strip. I think I only get 3, so I'm going to have to cut a little bit more. 1, 2. 3. That's that. And then, yeah, not quite enough. So I'm going to cut this way. So this will be my 4th square. Okay, so I think that is all of the cutting that I need to do with my trimmer. So I'm going to put that to one side, and I'm going to bring back all my pieces that I need for my card. There we go. So I have my base card, which is a standard, it's 10.5 wide, whole length of the A4, scored at 14.85, and then I have a piece again, it's the whole length of A4, and it was, what did I say it was, 3 centimetres, 3.5 centimetres, 3 centimetres wide, which is scored again in the middle at 14.85, and then the other 2 scores are 7.4 centimetres from each end. So So that's that piece. You've got I've got 4 pieces of Evening Evergreen, 4.5 by 4.5 squares. I've got 4 pieces of white 4 by 4s, and then I also have 3 large pieces of the design double-sided paper. So these 2 pieces that are going to go in the middle of the card measure 10 by 14.4, and then I have a piece of basic white which is also 14.4, and on that sits a piece of double-sided paper which is 9.5 by 13.9. So one thing you do need to remember when you're making this card is that everything is in landscape format. So if you have got a busy pattern and it's got words on it or something, please make sure when you cut it that you can still see it in landscape form. Nothing worse than having your words going up and down rather than side to side. Well, I don't know, some people have fun reading that sort of thing, but it gave me a bit of a headache, so just... And then the next step is just to glue the paper onto, and the cardstock onto the base card. So you're going to glue in the 2 pieces that are going to form the decoration on the inside. So that's 1, like so. This piece is going to get glued on here, and the other bit of the inside. So that's my second piece. Try and line it up so that at least the bottom of the brickwork probably is not going to line up, because I cut it from top to bottom when I was cutting the TSP rather than from the side to side, but that's okay. That really doesn't matter. You just don't want this further up than the bottom of that one. So that's the inside sorted. Now the front, it's up to you. I'm going to glue the paper onto my piece of basic white first, and then I'm going to think about it. So I'm just going to put that bit to one side whilst I decide whether or not I want to put this up on dimensionals, or whether I'm just going to glue it directly to the card front. So that's the base card just sorted. And now this is the real fun bit, because you need to decide what it is that you're going to do. Are you going to just cut pieces of double-sided paper that you can stick onto here? Or are you going to, oops, not onto here, or are you just going to use the white and stamp? Obviously, if you decide that you would rather use the double-sided paper, you would only need one of these, because you're only going to stamp a sentiment on one. But because I am going to stamp on these, first off, I'm not going to glue them yet, just in case I make a boo-boo. Because there's nothing worse than making a boo-boo, and then at least if you haven't glued it on, you can turn it over. So I'm using the Plentiful Plants stamp set. You could use the double-sided paper. There's lots of plant options in there. Or, as I said, and fussy cut the plants, and there's also the pots and things as well. But I think I'm actually just simply going to stamp, and I'm just going to stamp the pots for the time being, and I might go a little bit further later. But I don't want to take up the rest of your day. So these are distinctive stamps. I don't know if you can see this. Let's put it on a block. She says, I'm trying to find a block. I do have blocks. Just don't have, I'm going to put that on a big one, I shouldn't really, but there you go. Let's see, I don't know if you can see, but it's it has like a texture on it, so when it stamps it's not going to be a smooth finish, if you'll see what I mean in a minute. When I stamp it, it will look textured. So I'm going to stamp that on there. Now what colour am I going to use? I think we've got enough evening evergreen on this at the moment, so I don't really want to use that. I'm going to go a bit Mediterranean, I think, and I'm going to use some Misty Moonlight. So it's going to be a blue pot. So I'm just going to make sure I've got enough on there. This is a new stamp, I've not actually used it yet, so hopefully it will come out fine. And it's photopolymer, so you'll notice I've actually got a foam. Right, it's a bit blotchy because I think my Misty Moonlight has a lot of ink there. So I know what, I'm not too happy with that, so I'm going to turn it over and just not put too much on this time. See how that goes. So you don't really need to push it down too hard. That's better. So we've got shadows now and things, and I'm not too worried the fact that it hasn't. I was going to say hasn't stamped there, but that's how the actual stamp is. So I'm happy with that now. But I'm not going to do them all in Misty Moonlight. I'm going to do the second one. Which is this one. In, let's see what colours. I'm going to do it in soft succulent, I think. There we go. So again, it's a distinctive stamp. So you'll find that some bits come out darker than others, and other bits it looks a bit spotty on there, but I know that should be fine, it'll stamp fine. Oops, hopefully I managed to stay steady enough. So that's my soft succulent one. And I think I'm going to put the sentiment in Misty Moonlight, which means I'll do one more pot in soft succulent. And I'm going to take that off there because I don't have many blocks. So I'm going to put this one on. So I'm going to stamp this one onto the third piece. So this looks like it has a shadow going down the side, like so. And then I need a sentiment. Now I've only got a small amount of space, so what am I going to fit in? I'm actually going to use the thank you, which looks too wide, and it is. But there's ways and means to get around that, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to put that on this block. And go back to my Misty Moonlight ink. So the nice thing about having photopolymer stamps is that you can actually see where the ink is going when you put it onto the stamp. So if you only place the word or the part of the sentence that you want onto the block like that. So I've now got my thank. So I'm going to stamp that. The only thing you do need to remember to do is to make sure that you give your stamp a thorough clean before you ink up the second part of the sentence or the other word. Well, I went a bit to the right there, but never mind. So the next bit I want to do is the U, but I don't want to be, I'm not very good left-handedly, so I'm just going to turn it upside down, and then I know I can see properly on the right hand side. And again, I'm just simply going to ink up that part of the sentiment. And I notice there's a little bit of blue still on that thank bit. I'm just going to use my Simply Chamois just to get into those bits to get them out. And move that ink out the way. Try and get this in the centre this time. There we go. I guess I could really do it again, but I'm not going to. Yeah, no, I think it's all right. So then we have a bit of an assembly job. So we want to take our strip, which has been scored, and we also want to take our 4 cardstock squares. And then you're going to glue these pieces of the basic white that you stamped, or pieces of the designer series paper that you've cut, and just simply glue them onto the 4 squares, one on each square. Doesn't matter which, and it doesn't matter which order, because you've got time, you haven't glued them onto anything else yet, so you've got time to decide what order you want to put them in. So there's one. Yeah, I think my glue's running out. That's 2. That's my second, my third one. And as I said, I've just cut squares because it's the easiest thing for me to do on my trimmer to show you, and it saves me getting up and down with having to cut things out using my die machine. But if you've got circles or whatever other shapes that you quite fancy to use, there's nothing to stop you from using them. It'll just obviously give you a different look, which is nice. Right, so those are my 4 squares that I've now stuck together. Now I want to alternate the blues and the misty moonlight and the soft succulent. But do I want to have my thank you there, or do I want to have it here? I think I might put it there, because if I go back to the first one, whoops, it was the right way round. There's nothing to stop you from putting the thank you on that very end, or sentiment on that piece, or on any of them. It's personal choice. If you want to, when it's sitting up, it will look like that. Actually, I do quite like the idea of having it down the end there, so maybe that's what I will do. So I will swap them around like that. Now this is one of those cards where you don't really want to be using your dimensionals to glue to put adhere these, only because when this is all folded up, it'll all be sitting on top of each other, and it'll get squashed, and obviously it takes it up into the more expensive, larger card size, so you have to pay more for postage. Of course, if you're giving it to someone, then it doesn't really matter. So to fix these on, I'm just going to use my Tombow Now, you don't want to be gluing anything wider than that strip that you're placing these onto, otherwise you're going to end up gluing it to your base card, which would be a bit of a disaster. The two end ones, it doesn't matter so much, and you'll see why in a minute, but just for consistency I would suggest that you simply don't do it to any of them, and also you need to make sure that you've got your image the right way around. It'd be nothing worse than me putting the glue on so that it goes top and bottom behind here. Just double making sure, as I said, it would not be a good idea to do that the wrong way around. Just panicked then thinking that I'd left an ink pad open. Try and get them in line. I'm assuming mine is. It's a bit difficult when you're not actually working completely. And now see, look what I've just done. I just did that because I was so busy yakking and not paying attention, which is not good. So I'm just going to have to wipe that bit off. And then when it comes to sticking it, I'm just going to have to be very careful and let it dry before I actually close the card up. So that's going to go on there, like that, and then this one's going to go like that. So remember, do as I say, not as I do. It's not the end of the world. I mean, I've got most of it off. It's slightly proud of the so it's not going to be completely flat on it. So I'm not too worried. Although having said that, I've got inky, sticky fingers now. There you go. So that's that piece. So this is then going to get glued into here. Now you only want to glue the two outside pieces, because that other, if you glue the middle bits, it kind of defeats the object of having the W fold. But before you do glue it, you want to fold these. So that first fold on the left hand side of score line, you want to do as a valley fold. So that means that you're folding it, the two sides up towards you to make a V. Okay, the middle one, you want to make a mountain fold. So effectively the pieces are going away from you. And then the score line on the right, you're going to do another valley fold. So it's the two pieces are coming up towards you. So this is the bit that will then, obviously when the card is flat, it's flat. But when you open up the card, it will then form that W. Hence the name W fold. So as I said, you just need to be sure that you only glue two outside pieces, one at each end. I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it separately. So that first piece, and again, this part, you can have it going as high as possible or as low as possible. Now I'm going to put it down slightly because what I'm going to do is I've just decided is that I'm actually going to stamp some foliage and put them on as well. So I want some space so that if I've got something tall, that I can add it to here without it disappearing outside the card. And then this last piece. So when you're gluing it in, you want to make sure that the edges match up with the outside edges of the card. Like so. Oops, don't want to, that's the dodgy one. So when you it'll close flat. See, there's a little bit of bulk on it, but it's not too bad. And so if you were to use dimensionals in there, yeah, that would be like 1, 2, 3 or 4 times the width again. So it's really not what you necessarily want to do. And then it's up. So I'm going to finish this off in a little while, and then I will post a picture of my finished card. So I'm going to use some of these. So I think it would be cute to have some of this foliage on here. So I will be stamping and then die cutting it all out. And I could cheat and just use the paper from the pack. And then this piece is going to be the front. And I think I'm going to glue that one flat, and then I'm going to put some extra bits and pieces on it to decorate it so that it won't necessarily be flat at the end of it. So if you're wondering what the foliage in the paper looks like when you cut it all out, I'll just show you. This is a card that I made Monday, and it's called a stadium card. And Trisha, who's one of the acorns, kindly talked us through how to make it. And I say talk because we really didn't know where we were going with it to start off with, so it's all part of the fun. And I didn't make them watch me whilst I fussy cut all of this, but this is from the paper pack, the Bloom Where You're Planted paper pack that I was talking about. So, and this does actually, someone asked me when I posted a photo the other day, does it fold flat? And the answer is yes, but you will need a square envelope for it. So if you, hopefully, and again, this is one of the ones that you want to be careful that you don't come out too far. I think Trisha said it was a 6 by 6. So yeah, that's definitely 6 inches, but whether that, we see, I might have gone a bit mad and maybe put up to a bit too proud, so I might end up having to put mine into a 7 by 7. But yes, it will fold flat, but because of the bulk of all the bits on it, it'll go as a large letter. But this is what the foliage looks like when you cut it out from the paper, and this is what the big plant plots and things look like. So I might mix and match and do some of this, but I don't know yet. I'm going to work it out. So, well, thank you for watching. A couple of things I need to mention. First off, the last chance sale ends tonight, so there's only a few more hours left for you to purchase any of the items that are in the January to June mini catalogue, because they are retiring. Same thing with the Hey Chick and the Hey Birthday Chick. Hey Birthday Chick is actually in the new annual catalogue, but it won't be as a bundle, so you'd lose the 10% off. So getting it now means you save 10%. Similarly, any of the other bundles that have carried items that have carried over, there are a couple of bundles that have carried over, so you'll still get the 10% on them, but the majority items are now, as of tomorrow, going to be only available individually, so you'll lose that 10%. And then of course we have the double-sided paper sale, which starts tomorrow, runs all month, and there's 15% off select packs. It's not, and they're packs from the annual catalogue, just so that you know that one. What else did I need to mention? Oh, next week it'll be Card and the Cuppa. Kits did go in the post. Jenny put them in the post for me on Monday, so hopefully they are now starting to arrive. And I will be back here on next Wednesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And what else? I think that's it really. So enjoy your week, and I hope to catch up with you again soon. Take care. Bye.